Now that you are all excited to start using this printer, there's only one last step here before we get to that. We need to calibrate the height of this nozzle to the print bed plate so that we are always printing the part in the right way. We do not want too much gap between the nozzle tip and the print bed, because then the material is going to be printed in thin air and it's going to drop from a height, which won't be a good thing. And on the other end, we do not want this nozzle to dig into our glass plate, because it's going to damage the nozzle and going to make our print all smushed. So to avoid either of those conditions, we need to do a calibration. We are going to use a piece of paper. This could be any piece of regular paper, could be a letter size paper that you have at your home or anything from your notebook. And as first step here, what we are going to do is we are going to rotate these knobs all counterclockwise so that this bed is pulled all the way down, so that we have the max amount of gap we can have between the nozzle and the print bed while the nozzle comes down. So let's rotate this counterclockwise. Make sure we rotate it all the way. While you rotate it, you will feel that when it's all the way in, it will start producing enough resistance that you should stop. Okay, now that each knob is rotated counterclockwise and has pulled the print bed all the way down, we're going to go onto our screen and select Auto Home. So the way we get to that is click this, go to Prepare, and go to Auto Home. So the printer just clicked on the X-axis limit switch, Y-axis limit switch, and now it's going to come and click onto the Z-axis limit switch to find out its home. Okay, now that our printer is home, we can see there is a gap between the nozzle tip and the print bed plate, and our goal is to make sure that gap is optimum everywhere on the printer. And to do that, we are going to use this piece of paper. But before we start moving things, we need to disable our stepper motors, all our motors. The way you do that is you go to Prepare and press Disable Steppers. Once you press it, the steppers should be disabled, and now you should be able to freely move this, as well as the Z-axis stepper and the X-axis. So what we are going to do is we are going to bring it to each and every corner and put the piece of paper down and start moving each of the knob clockwise this time, so that we can increase the height of the print bed and bring it close to the nozzle. And our goal is that by doing so, we bring it so close that we have enough clearance that is equal to the thickness of the paper, but not too much beyond that and not too less. What that means is, as I move this paper should be able to move, but should not be this free. So right here you can see now my paper is held by the nozzle a bit too much. So I'm going to rotate this nozzle again counterclockwise and create that clearance. So we hold the paper and move it underneath the nozzle just to make sure we have enough clearance, and not this less that I can feel grinding between the paper and the nozzle. So just enough. That's one corner. Let's move it to the other corner. While you move it, make sure you don't hit the clip with the nozzle. Move it out, move it away, bring it in, and bring it to this side. Again, we'll do the same step. We'll take the piece of paper, put it underneath, and rotate this knob clockwise. So again, we know this is catching. We'll go a bit counterclockwise so that it's free. You know it's free. You know it's good from there on. Now we've come all the way back and adjust this side and rotate the knob clockwise to release the plate and lift the plate. When you feel that there is that grinding feeling here, try to rotate the knob counterclockwise to free it up and now you know it's good. Again, while you're bringing it back, make sure you're not hitting the nozzle with this clip. The nozzle is made out of brass. It's a very soft metal and you will end up damaging it if you hit it with anything. So make sure you always run it free, away from other stuff, and bring it to this final end. Take the piece of paper, rotate the knob again clockwise. When you feel like it's catching too much, rotate it counterclockwise just a bit so that it's free. There you know. It's at the safe distance. Now one thing we'll make sure is we'll try to move this from the 4th position to the 1st position and make sure it's not rubbing on the print bed. Looks like right there the gap reduces and it touches. So what we'll do is we'll rotate this knob counterclockwise to create that gap and seal it with paper. Make sure there is enough clearance. Looks like right there the gap changes a little bit and it's touching. So again we'll try to put the paper down, rotate counterclockwise and create enough clearance and move it further. Once you go through these steps a few times, you will be able to freely move the nozzle onto the bed without touching anywhere and always have a clearance which is close to the paper thickness. One more point to check for is the center, just to make sure right at the center we have enough clearance. Looks like we do have enough clearance here. So now that we have calibrated the height, the next step is to mount the spool and the filament